Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Travis and Damian Podcast, episode 15. We're going to dump into some news, then we're going to get into our recent activities, and then Stranger Things 3. We are available on anchor.fm/Travis Damian Podcast, along with iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and many more. So, first piece of news is that the Nintendo Switch Lite was announced. This was something that was rumored and speculated for quite some time, but I think the back of the console got leaked some time ago. I wasn't really paying attention to any of this stuff, honestly, until it was officially announced, and now we have a Switch Lite. The main things about it is that it is coming out September 20th, and it'll retail for $200, but there's some other things I think I'm forgetting.
Yeah, they also, there's a lot of features removed from this to make it cheaper. Like, you can't dock it, you can't take out the Joy-Cons, there's no HD rumble or gyroscope either, and yeah, so they removed a lot of features so it could be more affordable and stuff. But some people are saying it's not, they were hoping it would be $150, because some people are saying, oh, you could have regular Switch for $250 during some sales and stuff. So I also agree. I don't think that buying this thing for maybe $50 less is worth is not worth it, because you lose so many features. But for the Lite itself, I think it's fine. I kind of suspected it would do something like this, since they're trying to phase out the 3DS from existence now. They want to make everyone buy a Switch now. So having a more, a smaller version of it that's more for portable play is something I expected them to do. But removing all these features and the discount isn't that big. I feel like it could have been $150 and people would have been real hype about it. But right now I kind of just feel like it's just there.
Yeah. And I know that there was another piece of news. I was Nintendo said that they aren't phasing out the 3DS just yet, which is a little weird and really strange, just because I feel like the 3DS has had a good run, and I think it is time for it to go now, because we have the Nintendo Switch now. It's a hybrid console, obviously, but I don't know why they're keeping the 3DS around, because I think whatever games do get announced for that system, it's just going to be it should have been on the Switch sort of thing,
Yeah, and I know Nintendo keeps saying that, but it's just I don't know why. At this point, they basically move all their 3DS exclusive titles, Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing, Pokemon to the Switch. So it's pretty clear that they're not making anything big for the 3DS anymore. So it's weird that they keep saying oh, don't worry, it's not going away, even though it kind of is. So yeah, I really do think the Lite is supposed to be a replacement for the 3DS, except they're just afraid to say it for some reason. But yeah, I think it looks good. It's just that I think the price is still a little too much. Once this thing is $150, I think it'll be a better trade-off,
Yeah, definitely. I think that this console is for those who have been still holding off on the Switch, or even then, I think that this might make them push to buy just the regular Switch. And then I think that this Switch Lite in particular is for people that only play in portable mode, because I know that there are some people that exclusively play the Switch in handheld mode. So maybe this will be a nice transition for them. But then again, Nintendo is very weird about save files and all this cloud saving and this and that. So depending on which games you have, some games might transfer over easily, some of them won't. And once again, you're losing that feature of plugging it into your TV or monitor with the HDMI port. And I mean, it is $100 cheaper, but I feel like the Switch Lite is for those in very specific situations.
Yeah, and I don't know. It kind of feels weird that you can't do the main thing the Switch is meant to do, which is switch from TV to handheld. It just kind of takes away that whole thing. Which is, it kind of makes me scared if they ever make a Switch Pro or whatever. That's only going to be a docked version. Which, I guess that won't bother a lot of people, but I do like to take my Switch out, time to time. So it'd be kind of weird to have that trade-off. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with future, sort of versions with the Switch, but I guess we just got to wait and see there.
Yeah. And then on top of that, the Switch Lite, some games are not compatible with it at all, I feel. 1-2 Switch is going to be very complicated to play on that thing, even if it can. And another game like Mario Party, that game is pretty much difficult to play on the Switch Lite, or non-existent, I should say.
Yeah, some things are just gonna be more difficult to play because you can't dock it. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just more, if you just want to have a Switch and that's it, it's not really meant to be just basically if you like the 3DS and just want the new games, then you'll just get this, I guess. But again, I don't really know, because I like to keep it docked most of the time, so this isn't really made for me. But I can see a lot of people gain use of this thing.
Yeah, I feel like those that are waiting for Animal Crossing are probably just gonna buy this.
Yeah, like Animal Crossing would be a really good game for this. So
yeah, but once again, this is for a very specific audience, mainly the casual audience, I think. But I'm pretty sure it'll do well either way. I don't see this failing in any way, shape, or form. Honestly,
no, not me either. It's probably still going to sell like crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so for more Switch news, this has been a problem for a while. So Joy-Con drifting, if you don't know what this is the Joy-Cons, like analog sticks, have problems where, like, let's say you have your character, so like Mario, right? Like you have Mario in your middle of your screen, you're not moving anything, and you're not touching anything. You're not touching the analog sticks, but Mario's slightly moving to the left. That's what the Joy-Con drifting is. My Joy-Cons have this problem too. I was playing like Monster Hunter, and my character would move slightly to the left, even though I wasn't pressing anything. And this has been a problem since the Switch came out. But apparently, like, a lot more people are complaining about it, and now there's a class action lawsuit against it. So, I guess Nintendo now, like, I don't think anything's gonna come from this, but it is showing that, like, the Joy-Con drift is a big problem that a lot of people are having, and Nintendo just doesn't really want to deal with it. So it's kind of like nice that they're getting like sort of like a lawsuit, so they could like maybe, like help these people out. Yeah. Because it is really annoying. Like, I really don't like Joy-Cons as a controller, but the drifting just makes it so much worse. Like, there's temporary fixes, like, to fix it. Like, you could like lift the little cap on the bottom of the analog stick and like not spray it, but like blow it with the what do you call those things? The air things, the pressurized air, whatever. The things you use to clean.
The canned air or whatever.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah, you can like spray it under there and it works for a little bit, but it never like goes away. So hopefully, like all this attention to this like will cause Nintendo to be like, okay, if you bring your Switch, you can like mirror switches like for free for like a month and we'll fix it for you or something. I think that would be nice, but I don't see anything really happening too big with this, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it is definitely very interesting that, finally someone was like, we're just going to sue them. Screw it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you get most of your problems solved here. So
yeah,
just sue them. Yeah.
But Joy-Con drifting, I don't know if my Joy-Cons do it, but personally, I don't have like a huge problem with it. Like, obviously, it sucks when like, you're just not even moving and then your character just moves. Mm-hmm. But, like, I don't have a huge problem with it. But I guess these people are just like, yeah, the product really shouldn't be like this. So, like, we need to, like, make sure that Nintendo actually fixes it and does something about it, which I can respect that move and decision. But my thing with, like, the Joy-Cons is, like, when you're sitting, like, on a couch and, like, you're too far away from the Switch and then the Switch will just disconnect, or like the Joy-Con will just like stop working for like a couple seconds. Like, that has happened to me several times, whether it's at my own house or like where someone else's house or whatever, like that's annoying. But I think that that's just how the Joy-Cons work. So Joy-Con drifting, I'm kind of just like whatever about it, but I do respect this decision by these people to like actually like try to do something about it. Obviously, this is a very expensive way to do it, but, they're actually, taking the step forward and, being like, hey, do something, please, Nintendo.
Yeah, and the big problem is, if, replacing your Joy-Con, costs us a lot of money, but you can still do it. You could just take out the Joy-Con and just get another one. If this happens with the Switch Lite, you can't replace the freaking Joy-Con. Yeah, get a whole new console if something like that happens. So, like, that's a big concern a lot of people were having. So, and I think that's a fair judgment to have there. Because if the Joy-Cons are still the same Joy-Cons, but they're like built into the Switch Lite like they are, and you're having this problem, you're gonna have to like get like send it to Nintendo instead of just like buying a new Joy-Con or whatever. So yeah, so it's a whole mess there.
Yeah, definitely a whole mess that is now being created because of what has happened, I believe, since launch, honestly, since the Switch has been out.
People are having this problem since like it came out, so
gonna be very interesting to see where this develops. Then last piece of news we have here is Taika Waititi is directing Thor 4. So obviously Avengers / Endgame spoilers. Thor is the only character to really have a story or have a chance to continue a story after Endgame. So Taika Waititi coming back. I'm very interested to see what he does, because Obviously, Thor in the MCU is very different from what Thor is in the comics, honestly. He's not this goofball jokester that he is within the MCU, but people love it. And honestly, I have no problem with it. And I want to see where they take this character now, especially with the journey that he went through ever since Ragnarok, because Thor has been up and down, honestly, in terms of like emotions, and he's been through a lot. So I want to see where his story even concludes or where it goes, whether it's in the Asgardians of the Galaxy, that movie from James Gunn, and now Thor 4. So
yeah, like you said, like Thor is a very interesting character in this universe just because he went through like so much, and like even his character is like not even the same. Like from the first movie to now, it's like he's like a totally different character just because like they made him more likable, and like they focus on more of his better qualities, like being funny and stuff like that. Since Thor 1 and 2 are kind of forgettable, but then Ragnarok happened, like that was really good, and then in the Endgame and Infinity War, he was also like a really good part of that. So him directing Thor 4, I'm pretty excited for it and see where Thor goes from here. Since again, like you said, like he's like the only character that really has like an opening to do more stuff with, not spoiling too much if you haven't watched Endgame at this point. But him and Spider-Man and like maybe Captain Marvel are like the few that have like sort of like more openings they could go for. So it'll be good. I don't know if they're gonna conclude his story here. Like they might just like conclude Thor's like just role in this thing, because I don't know if the MCU, again, we don't really know too much about what the MCU has next. But I think they might end Thor's story with this one. And that's my guess anyway. I feel like they want to focus on the new people and like maybe a lot more new heroes and stuff. So I don't know, it's gonna be interesting to see what to do with this movie.
Yeah, definitely very interested to go and see what Taika Waititi could do again with Thor, because this whole new direction that he's taken on, I think, is better for the character, because taking him seriously is kind of hard, so yeah, I'm glad that they've taken this much more lighthearted approach, starting with Ragnarok and moving forward since then. So
yeah, like I'm just happy what they did with Thor, honestly. Like I think he was the character that needed the biggest facelift, and they did a good job really recovering his character with Ragnarok. Because like I remember when Ragnarok was getting so much praise, I was just like, really? Like a Thor movie is getting this much praise? And then it was amazing. Like I love it. So if they could do the same with Thor 4, I'm all for it. So
yeah, it's pretty good. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. If you haven't, but yeah, let's get into our recent activities. So I'll go first real quick.
All right.
So League of Legends, obviously, still working on that. I was on a team before called Team Fish Tacos, laugh if you will.
Nice.
But that team was full of Diamond 1 or lower players, and I was like Grandmaster at the time. So the cap of it, I forget exactly what it was. We were playing in the ABL series. So ABL is like its own like little amateur league or whatever. So I believe the cap of it, let me just check real quick. It was 250 LP Grandmaster. So nothing against that team or org or anything at all. Like they honestly were really good to me. But I was just like, I kind of want to compete in scouting grounds, and like, that team wasn't doing it immediately, if I can say that. Like there were scouting grounds events happening on the weekend, and for whatever reason we couldn't compete in them. So I was just like, shit, I need to like find a new team, because like these scouting ground events aren't happening all year round. So I quickly, tried my best. I made it to plus 250 LP Grandmaster. I'm currently sitting at 325, so that's pretty good. But obviously I want to go and hit Challenger and try to hit as high as I can, just so I have more options available to me later on. But now the team I'm on is Authority Esports, which is a bit more professional, but then again, it's a very generic name or whatever. But we've been scrimming a lot, wins, loses, whatever. You learn from them. But solo queue, it's still very, very 50-50. Oh, my God. I have no idea how next season is going to play out, just because they added, Grandmaster, they added Iron. But on top of that, they removed, like the Division 5. So I'm not sure if I'm exactly supposed to be in Grandmaster or if the system is just broken, but I'm just trying to play my best in whatever games I happen to get put into. But there's that. And then TFT came out for ranked. and also for League, they just dropped like a huge patch like out of nowhere, but they did it strategically right before like playoff season happens. It's sort of like a little over the halfway point of the season for like LCS and stuff like that. So it's not like dropping right before playoffs. So like, like teams have time to adapt to these changes, but they changed a lot of champions. They buffed, nerfed, etc. a bunch of champions. So still testing that out. But for TFT ranked, it seems like people are trying a lot harder now. Like people die a lot later. And like supposedly when I was reading like these changes on like PBE, like one guy that I follow, Lopally, he was playing it and he was like, it feels like people are gonna die a lot faster, but like for me personally, and when you play ranked, everyone starts in iron, so don't feel bad because there's like nothing to base off TFT rank. Right. So I'm currently like bronze 2 or something like that, but that's because I haven't been playing that much in terms of like TFT rank. But it's still TFT, it's still fun. But yeah, people die like a lot later. It feels like people, like all 8 players will still be alive after like wolves, which is crazy to me. So, people are actually like trying to, get really good at the game. I'm not exactly sure what comps are good or like what's bad, or whatever, but I just play with what feels good to me. And TFT is still fun and I'm having a blast with it. It's still, a casual thing I do despite there being a ranked mode for it. And then other things I've been dabbling into, I watched Far From Home again just because this movie seems a lot more divisive compared to Homecoming, I feel. Just because it's a epilogue to Endgame, but at the same time it's being a sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm not going to spoil anything here, but pretty much I think I still feel the same way as I did on the last podcast episode. Things are still a little messy. Tones are everywhere, but I still really like the movie. Mysterio's really good. I still like the way they portray Peter Parker, and all of that stuff. People like complaining and like nitpicking and this and that. Honestly, this is a different Spider-Man, and I'm all for it just because, doing the same stories over and over again. We saw what happened with the Amazing Spider-Man movies. That was kind of just like, rehashing what kind of Tobey did, but in a much different and kind of grittier light in that way. But with this MCU Spider-Man, it's completely different. But people want to see, the movies, talk about Uncle Ben and this and that. But I'm just kind of like, if they want to do it, they'll do it. I'm fine with what they're giving me so far. But I can't understand the complaints about, tones being vastly different and this and that. But the Spider-Man movies for the MCU anyways, Far From Home and Homecoming, they're supposed to be lighthearted because they're goddamn Spider-Man movies, Yeah. It's not supposed to be serious, I get that this is a epilogue to Endgame, but then again, Endgame was its own movie. This is Far From Home, and this is how they portray the blip, as they called it. So,
yeah, I guess some people were just like, because the two tones clash just because, Endgame was like a more serious thing because, it was like the whole ending, like the whole snap and all that stuff. But Spider-Man himself and like Homecoming, they're very derpy and like, it's all like, it's meant to be more funny and stuff like that. So I feel like it does like the tones clash a bit, but I think it works in the end. But yeah, like, I have the same opinion like last time. It is a bit messy, but I still think it's good. So,
yeah. And then I watched a movie. I'm not sure if it came out last year or this year. Let me check. Came out last year. The Hate You Give. This was a movie I actually wanted to see in theaters, but I didn't get a chance to, and my brother rented it on Blu-ray, and it is really good. If you watch the trailer, it is very political. It's about Black Lives Matter and this and that with police brutality. But yeah, it's a very good movie. I really did like it, and I really enjoyed myself watching it just because I am a minority. I am Asian, if you didn't know, but, I'm not a black person, so I can't necessarily 100% relate, but I understand where, people just come into your life, just strangers, and just say the meanest shit to you or whatever, so, but, yeah, there's that. So I'll let you go, and then we'll talk about Stranger Things.
So, I guess I'll talk about Mario Maker first. So I got Mario Maker 2 since I saw like so many people playing it. I'm like, I skipped out on Mario Maker 1 for the Wii U and I kind of regretted it. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to let this one go by me this time. I'm going to get it. And yeah, what basically everyone has been saying, it's really fun. I can't really comment on any of the improvements because again, I never played Mario Maker 1. But in terms of like just the game itself, I think it's really good. Building feels really nice. I know some people are saying it doesn't feel as good without the gamepad. Again, can't based off on anything because I never played it with the gamepad. So playing with the controller felt absolutely fine. It felt very intuitive. Nothing felt too messy. It's all very simple. You just place blocks. Place some enemies and obstacles and platforms, and there you go. You got a level. It's very easy. Like, I'm not used to having sort of like these like creative games. I'm used to like Little Big Planet or Dreams where it's very complex and you could tweak like every single object and like do whatever. This game is a lot. You place the blocks and then there you go. You just make a level, and it's really nice. It's really nice just to make a quick level. You have an idea, you make it, and then you just put it online. But it does focus a lot more on your ability to like have good level design. Like this game, you can't make any weird like gimmicky stuff. Like you can, but like it is a lot more based on like actual game design, like what makes a level fun and all that stuff. And it's funny when you go online, you go to like the course world and like go to random online levels, you could immediately tell what's made by like a 5-year-old when it's just like a straight line with like a bunch of enemies. I'm like, all right, this was made by like a 5-year-old kid. But when you see like pretty creative stuff, like really thought out level design, it's like, all right, yeah, like you really appreciate it when you see it. And the story mode, that's something new in this game as well, where there's like a bunch of like I think 100 plus like pre-made Nintendo quality levels. They're all extremely good. I haven't finished it yet. I'm like halfway through, but they are very Nintendo quality. Most of them are not like your typical Mario levels. They're a lot more gimmicky, like showing off the all the different stuff you could do. Like one level you're in a Koopa clown car, and then the other one like like an actual car, and just show a bunch of different elements you could use in creative mode, like there's sort of like a baseline, like, hey, this is what you could do with these tools. And I think it does a good job on showing you what you could do with those like elements, and it's also just fun to play. So I think the story mode is really fun. It's pretty long too. Like I played like 3 hours of it and I'm not like done yet, so it's a pretty good length for it, I think. So and then overall, like you have the endless mode and stuff. That's always fun. Just play a bunch of like random levels at whatever difficulty you want with set lives. It's a fun little challenge that you could do. But yeah, it's a really good package. I think it's worth the $60. Like, I think the story mode itself, like even if you don't want to like make your own levels, I think the story mode and endless, plus you like look for other people's levels by searching for it. I think that's like enough content to like justify it. So yeah, it's basically just as good as everyone has been saying. If you like 2D Mario, then this will be great, and I love 2D Mario, so yeah, I love it. All right, so next thing that I've been playing that's been like eating my life is Final Fantasy. I was talking about last week with not last week, 2 weeks ago, when Shadowbringers came out. I finished the main story, and yeah, it is very good. Everyone online has been saying it's an amazing expansion. It's like probably the best Final Fantasy in years, and it really does feel like that. I think this expansion really knocks it out of the park with the story and like the music and everything. Like it has been fantastic. I really liked it. The dungeons have been really good. All the different raid bosses have been really challenging, like a lot harder than I thought they were going to be. Like I said last podcast, like one of them took me quite a while, like for like a leveling like raid boss, like it was hard, but enjoyable. So yeah, a lot of the other changes they did to some of the classes were really nice. I heard a lot of good things about Black Mage. I haven't leveled that up, but yeah, overall like a really solid expansion, and I'm just happy with it. I mean, every expansion has been extremely good. Heaven's Word, Stormblood, and now Shadowbringers. Like the game just keeps improving and improving and improving, and I'm gonna be sad when an expansion comes out and it sucks, or when it just ends, because this expansion just feels like the story's just gonna end soon. I'm like, oh, I guess there's gonna be no more of this game. But yeah, it's been a really good expansion, and it's really good.
Okay, so let's get into Stranger Things 3.
Yeah.
It is on Netflix. It's been out for quite some time. We're going to do full spoilers, so if you haven't watched it yet or binge watched it or whatever, don't listen to us talk unless you don't care about spoilers. So let's just get our overall thoughts on the season, because I think I did that last time. But I think it's really good. I actually rewatched all 3 of the seasons. I think I'm on like the last episode of season 3. But I think that this season, in my opinion, is a lot better than season 2. just because we get to see a lot of the main characters interact more, I guess. The reason why Stranger Things works so well is because of the characters, and I think season 3 just does more of that for me compared to season 2. And I still think season 1 is just like the best one because of like it was like you didn't know what the hell was gonna happen because it is a brand new series, but you know, afterwards with the sequels, Stranger Things 2 and Stranger Things 3, you kind of get an idea as to what this universe is about. But Stranger Things 3 I think is still really, really good.
Yeah, I think I feel the same way. Like I definitely think 2 it's not bad, it just it feels like a worse one. Or like it feels like it's like basically the same as season 1 but like worse, where you know you have what's his face, Will, like, you know, he gets like, you know, one he's possessed, and then and one he was like in the upside down, right?
Yeah,
and then in 2 he's like possessed, and then instead of the demigorgon you have demi-dogs, and you know, it's basically like the same exact thing, except like I don't think it's as good. 3 feels like it has a lot more of an identity, you know, with everyone like, you know, having relationships, and like the Russians, you know, there's a lot of like crazy stuff that makes it stand out more, and I really like the character interactions in this one a lot.
Yeah,
and again, I don't know, for when I was watching it I felt like it was better than 1, but it also been like 4 years or whatever since I watched season 1, so I can't really say for sure. I do want to go back and watch season 1, but I definitely do think that season 1 felt the most pure. Like it was like, again, like you said, we didn't know what was going to happen, and like it was just exciting every time something weird happens. Like, whoa, what? So
yeah, because like we didn't know if Will was actually alive, or like if this place, the Upside Down, actually existed, and stuff like that.
Yeah, it felt like the most like an 80s movie. Like it had like the vibe like nailed down in the first season, which was really cool. But I feel like in terms of the continuation, I think 3 has been really solid. So
yeah, like definitely after I finished season 3 I was like, is this better than 1? Because like,
yeah, I had the same thought. Yeah,
just finished watching it and I was like, that was like a really good season. But you know, rewatching the first season and like listening to what other people said in terms of like what their opinions were, I'm like, I kind of agree with them that, you know, like season 1 is good because it was a mystery at its finest and you really didn't know what was going to happen, and that's why it was so good. The reason why people still like Stranger Things is because of the characters, and they built those characters really, really strong within the first season, and they just keep building upon that on season 3, I think.
Yeah, so I guess we just talk about it from the start. So basically, it just shows that everyone is basically like older now, which is cool. Like I said when I think we talked about it in the trailer, I was like, it's cool that they're really going into like how these kids are growing up and how things change and stuff like that. That they get relationships, or like, you know, they like you know, drift apart or whatever. I think that was a cool concept they went into. So you know, it showed like Elle and what's his face. What's his name? Mike. Yeah, Mike. Like in a relationship and stuff, and like Hopper is like, you know, basically her dad now and stuff.
Yeah.
Lucas and what's her name? I keep forgetting all their names.
Lucas and Max.
Yeah, Max. Like they're together and things like that, and Will is sort of just dealing.
Okay, hold on. Will, man, I feel so bad for him because, you know, like
Will just gets like crapped on like every season. So
yeah. So the reason why I feel so bad for Will is not just because he wants to play D&D with his homeboys. It's because for the past 2 seasons he didn't get to do shit with his life. He pretty much was fucked by the goddamn Upside Down.
Yeah.
But in this season he's like, come on guys, let's play D&D. And you know, like, I'm not sure if, you know, if he just doesn't like girls, or like he's in that phase within his life where he's just like, I still just, you know, like want to have fun and do my own thing, which is fine. You know, like whatever the directors or, you know, the people behind Stranger Things want to do with that character, I'm all down for it. You know, I just felt bad that like Will this season was just like, I just want to play D&D with the boys, and then like he tore down Byers Castle. I was like, damn son, like that was but
yeah, like I get it. Like I don't think it's like I don't know what they're gonna do with that character in terms of whatever, but I think it is because, you know, he spent like 2 full years like just either in the Upside Down or like mind controlled. Like, you know, he really had a good childhood. So all he wants to do is like, again, play D&D with the boys, but like now all of them are busy doing their own thing, and then he's just like, come on, like it's like the first time we're not getting like mind controlled or like some traumatic event happening, and then no one wants to do anything. So So yeah, I thought that was an interesting way they did with Will's character, because for the longest time he was just like a plot device, like, and I felt like that wasn't really fair to him. So it was cool to see like him, like how it affects him and how he has like PTSD and crap from all this stuff. So yeah, I thought that was pretty neat.
Sense the monster.
Yeah, and he has like spidey senses. Yeah. In terms of the other characters, I really like what they did with Steve and Dustin. Like, they're just best bros now. Because yeah, ever since like I think the second one where they just connected more. So it was nice to see. I basically, like, my favorite like sort of side plot was with Steve, Dustin, and Robin. I thought that they were really funny. And who else I'm missing in terms of characters?
Erica was in that group, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, what did you think about her character? Because some people found her annoying, but I thought
I didn't find her bad.
She was
like she was very like Steve Urkel-esque. Like, she was very like, she was like that. I thought it was funny. I don't know. I feel like some people have a problem with the show. Like, I think this season was more jokey than the other two. Like, it was a lot more comedy. And I didn't mind it. I thought it fit well with this sort of show. But I know some people didn't like that. I thought she was fine.
Yeah. I really like the whole like Scoop Troops sort of thing going on. Because, like Steve just got out of high school, he graduated, did whatever he had to do. But now he's kind of like, he still has like that high school mentality, which you see, but like by the end of the show, he's kind of just like, oh, fuck it, whatever. Yeah. So, and he tried to get with Robin, but unfortunately, I guess she's lesbian.
Yes. As you learn later. It's like, also Steve can't win either, just like Will. Like, that poor man. I really, they're friends now, which is nice. Like, I don't want Robin to go because she's a good character, but
yeah, Robin's a really good character. I think what's it called, when like season 2 was coming out, the actress Sadie Sink, who plays Max, was like getting a lot of hate leading up to season 2 for whatever reason. I'm not exactly sure why.
Because because the shippers were mad because she was like, oh, you're breaking L away from what's his face, I keep forgetting his name.
Mike.
Mike, yeah. L from Mike. Is this like what, like, real life shippers are like disgusting, also they're kids, so stop it.
Oh yeah, it's like with people shipping like Tom Holland and Zendaya. It's like, they're really good friends, but like, if they want to date, they'll date. But if not, just let them.
It's fine to ship like animated people because they're not real. But when you start shipping like actual people, it's so weird. Like, stop it.
Yeah, definitely. But Mike and 11 and like that whole like group, I guess, was very fun to watch within the first episode. Dustin gets back from camp and that whole thing happened. And Hopper. All right, so Hopper has always been like my favorite character throughout the entire show, but this season I feel like, I don't know, they kind of like downplayed his character a little bit, especially within like the whole like beginning of the season until like the final episode, I think.
They made him very off the rails. Like, he was very like he felt very uncharacteristically him. Like, like
yeah,
he was very angry.
Okay, so the way I would describe him for this season is that he's just like psycho dad for like whatever reason. Yeah. And like the first shot of him when he's just on the couch and like Mike and 11 are doing their thing or whatever. Yeah. I was like, this guy looks fucking pissed. Like, he looks so mad for like whatever reason, and obviously he doesn't like Mike, which kind of makes sense, but I think that they really like downplayed his character in some ways because of, his whole thing, like obsessing over like they shouldn't be together. They see each other every day, this and that. But I think like Joyce really like tried to talk some sense into him. Like, she knew like they're kids, like they're growing up or whatever. They're now teenagers.
Well, I guess it's because it goes deeper because, he lost his daughter. I still don't know what his daughter actually died from. I forgot.
I think it was cancer.
Oh, it was cancer? Okay. So I guess that's why he's more protective of 11 because he just sees her as her daughter, and then like he doesn't want to like anything happen to her and stuff like that. So he's like very protective right now. And Mike was being a little shit though. Like, he was just like, he's just like, yeah. But I don't know. But I agree with you. Like, I think they made him a little like he kind of lost focus on what he was. Like, he didn't really feel like the same character from 1 and 2, but it was still like funny.
Like that whole scene when like Hopper tries to like talk to them and then Mike's just shitting on him the whole time, like low key. I was like, come on, bro. Like, yeah. And then he's like, your grandma's like something. I was like, oh shit, he's gonna like give him the dad talk, which is exactly what he did. He like scared him, and then that whole plot thread happens. And 11 and Max, that was a relationship that I really liked. And
yeah, it was nice.
in season 2, obviously we didn't see much of it because 11 thought that Max was trying to steal Mike from her or whatever. Yeah. But this season, you know, they really played that friendship, and I really, really liked all of these scenes with Mike and 11 in it. And, you know, it was just really fun to watch them interact at the mall, especially because, you know, 11's not supposed to be there, supposedly. And then, you know, they find out about the whole Billy thing. So what do you think about, like, Billy this season in particular?
I thought, like, okay, so, like, it's sort of the same thing with Steve, where it's like you hated him in season 1, but then, like, oh, he's really cool. And then, like, they made him better. I felt like him being mind controlled or whatever was, like, I thought they were going to make him mind controlled, but, you know, spoiler, like he doesn't, like, live this season.
Oh, no. Yeah. Like, just talk about spoilers, like, whatever.
Okay. And I was hoping he would, like, live just so we could, like, see him be, like, a better character. But, I don't know, I felt like because he felt very, like, unredeemable. Like, I know he has, like, the abusive, like, father and stuff like that. But he was pretty bad in season 2 in terms of being, like, an asshole. So, yeah. But I felt like with him being deflated and stuff, like, you really did feel bad for him the more you learned about him. And, like how he really didn't want to hurt his sister and things like that. So I thought that those were, like, really good moments where, you know, show that he did still, like, really care about Max and stuff when he was getting all, like, mind controlled by the thing. So... no, I think they did a good job with his character, but again, I wish he kind of lived so we could, like, see more of him. Yeah, because he was really interesting at the end, but, you know, they killed him off at the end. So
yeah, unfortunately. Personally, I really liked Billy's character once again, like you said with, like, Steve. I mean, like, season 1, Steve, like, turned his character around, like, almost instantly, but then season 2 just, like, made his character, like, 10 times better. And for season 3, you know, Billy, obviously he was just, like, a dickhead asshole, and that was, like, very, very clear and obvious, and he was trying to get with Mrs. Wheeler, and that was, like, very, very funny. But some people found it a little strange that they dropped that plot line almost instantly, which I kind of understand, because I think Mrs. Wheeler kind of, like, realized, like, oh shit, I really shouldn't be doing this, which is why she, like, bailed on him, and then, you know, Billy started acting weird and all this other stuff. But yeah, I think it was a very smart idea to use Billy as, like, you know, the main person to get flayed, as they called it in the show. Just because, like, he's not part of the group, but he's right outside of the group where they would care enough just because it's Max's brother, to, you know, like, help him out. And obviously, you know, it is the upside down shenanigans happening. So, I think that this was, like, the best way to do it. But going back to Billy's character, I really liked what they did with Billy this season. It does suck that he did die, but I think it just, you know, completed his arc in a way.
Yeah, I could see that too. Like, you know, I don't think there was much more they could do with him, and I guess they had too many characters already, so it's like we can't really fit him anywhere.
It definitely would have been, like, weird to, like, see him try to, like, you know, be buddy with, like, Steve and everything. Like, that would have been very, very funny to watch, but we will not see that, unfortunately. And another supposed death, Hopper. I mean, like, do you think he's dead?
No. Yeah, look, if there's anything you should learn now is that if you don't see no body, he ain't dead. Like, he's not dead.
Yeah.
Like,
so, like, what's your theory as to how he lived?
Some people were saying he hopped into the... All right, so there's, like, 2 theories I read. One, he was, like, when that thing exploded, it only kills the people outside. Like, he was on the other side of that electrical thingy, and only the people, like... Well, he was inside, like, it's hard to explain. So when he was, like, trapped, like, you know, between him and Joyce, there was, like, this electrical barrier. Like, he was inside of it, right? So people were saying he didn't die because he was in the inside of it, and the people outside of it turned to, like, goo. And another theory is, like, he just hopped into, like, the hole. You know, the portal was opening before it exploded, and then he's in the upside down or something. But again, I don't have any wacky theory. I just know he's not dead. Because he should have been goo. Like, he should have been, like, meat chunks on the ground, and he wasn't. He just wasn't there. So, like, I definitely do think Hopper is going to die by the end of this series. I do think he is just going to die. But I don't think it's now. Like, I think he's somewhere else. Either in the, you know, after the post-credit scene with the Russians where they say, you know, not the American or whatever. You know, that might be him. We don't know. But I definitely do think he's alive. So, yeah,
he's somewhere.
Yeah.
I believe the jumping through the portal theory, and he might be in the upside down.
Yeah.
I feel like Hopper could survive in there. I think there's, like, a point in, like, season 2 where he actually gets dragged into the upside down for a bit. I forget exactly. Yeah. Despite me watching it very recently, but Yeah, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure he's still alive. But like, if he actually lived there, Joyce probably wouldn't have moved, and like Will and 11 probably would still be in Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like that thing going on, and then like Susie. So they set this up episode 1, and then they finally bring it all the way back around for the last episode. So like, did you find the whole like musical thing like out of place, or like do you think it fit in with like the whole Stranger Things?
I thought it fit in with the Stranger Things thing. I thought it was funny. The one scene that felt out of place was when Lucas was discussing about Coke for like a minute. I'm like, oh, okay. Remember that scene? Like Lucas was just like,
oh yeah.
Like, look at this Coca-Cola. It was real good.
Like, oh yeah, okay. He's like, new Coke's better. Yeah. It's like the reboot or whatever.
I know that was a real thing during the 80s, but I'm like, I'm still like, it felt very product. It was funny. Like I laughed really hard because I'm like, what? But bring it back on point. Yeah, I didn't think that felt out of place. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I think it's just Stan's or Stranger Things Stan just like being like, well, if she didn't do that, Hopper probably would have lived and there would have been enough time, this and that. But it's like,
no, it was just a funny moment. Yeah.
Yeah, like she didn't know. Like she doesn't know anything about the Upside Down. I doubt Dustin told her everything. You know. So, but yeah, I'm honestly glad that they finally brought it all back around, because I was just like, God damn, Dustin, you really dragged all your friends up here, and now they're just like, what the hell, bro?
Yeah, he actually had a girlfriend from Utah. Look at him.
Yeah, look at that. And then, what was the other point you were talking about?
Oh, what, with the product placement? With Coca-Cola?
I mean, like, Lucas's character, I mean, I guess we could talk about that. I think that he was just being a jackass this entire season. I don't know about you.
I mean, he was just giving like advice to Mike, but he didn't really know what he was talking about either. I thought it was funny because, you know, you don't know at that age either. I mean, like, I still don't know. No, it's just like, you know, it's like you're just kind of guesstimating. You're just giving him advice that he worked for him, I guess. I don't know. I thought him being like a wingman was kind of funny, but yeah. And I definitely felt like the kids felt a little more relevant this season just because they're getting older, so they could do more things, especially at the end when, you know, Lucas had the idea to use the fireworks against the meat monster thing. So it's cool that they got more like things to do. But yeah, I thought Lucas was fine.
Yeah, I just thought he was just a jackass the entire season, but I guess they needed that because like he was just being a dickhead the whole time. I was like, Max, how are you like still hanging around with this dude? But anyways, When Mike and 11 were like spying on them, I thought that was funny.
Oh yeah, when they were just like hanging out and then
just like being dudes and like poor Will still trying to start this D&D game or whatever. But the whole like Joyce and Hopper thing. So like Jopper was like already a ship that was happening towards the end of season 2, and they actually just like went straight first into it for this season, and I really liked it. And then when they were like, you know, doing like the whole Russian thing as well, that was another like complaint I saw online with like people like saying like 2 plot lines going on and they're both about Russians. That was a little weird. I mean, what'd you think about it?
I thought it was fine. Like usually Stranger Things like split their stories like with a lot of different characters and then they join up at the end. I felt like it was fine having to deal with the Russians just because it's like, you know, it's a big threat, I guess, and like, you know, they need multiple people, you know, I guess figuring it out, you know, with Dustin, Steve, and Robin like infiltrating their base, and Joyce, Hopper, and the other dude, I forget his name, the crazy guy, and you know, finding Alexei, so,
Murray or whatever.
Yeah, I forget his name. But yeah, like, I don't know. I thought it was fine because they both convene at the end. Well, they all convene at the end, but you know, I thought it was fine. Like Stranger Things always like had like a bunch of multiple stories, and then like they fit in the end somehow. So. Yeah. If there's one major complaint I had with this season, and I know it was kind of like a theme with it, is like all the love like interest and stuff. I felt like it did get a little too much. I was just like, all right. Like usually I'm okay with like 1 or 2, but this one was like 4. It was like Joyce and Hopper, Elle and 11. Elle and 11. No, Elle and Mike. And then like you know everyone. Steve and Robin, even though that ended, you know, not good for him.
Poorly,
you know?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, there was just a lot of like of that stuff.
And then
like,
Nancy and Jonathan.
Obviously. Yeah, those two also. Like there was a lot of love stuff, and I was like, I get it. You know, like I get it. Like we could stop now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought their plot line was good, like because they found Alexei and then they were giving them all the how to stop the portal opener thingy.
Yeah.
I felt like the weakest plot was with Jonathan and what's her face, Nancy.
I mean, like that one ended pretty quick.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that one ended really fast anyway. So like because they joined with the kids like real quick. But I don't know. I felt like it was just like whatever. Like it was a really good scene with the hospital when all the guys were turning into like.
Yeah.
But I felt like the rest of it was just like whatever.
The goddamn Hawkins post just treating Nancy like garbage. I was like, goddamn guys, like.
Yeah, and there was a good bit of dialogue there too with when Nancy and Jonathan were driving back home and they both don't understand each other's problems. Where Jonathan, he's poor, so he has to do these things. And Nancy, has the problem of being a woman, and like especially at that time where you don't get like any respect there, so they both didn't really understand the problems they were facing. So I thought it was actually a really good bit of dialogue there. So
yeah, and then I guess we could just talk about our final thoughts. I'm not sure if there's anything else you really want to talk about when it comes to the season. Is there?
No, I think that's about it.
Yeah, cause like, I mean, I'm just like trying to remember different points of the show. Like obviously there's like a lot of like great moments with the show with them like figuring out the goddamn Russian code. I thought that was really cute.
Yeah.
On how like they were like figuring out and this and that. I was like, oh shit, there's like 3,000 IQ sort of play here. And all of the different plot lines I think were done really, really well. All of the characters I think got some chance to shine, whether it was in this season or prior seasons, because people will say that, oh, Will, all he did was like alert them of like if he was here or whatever, but like give the kid a break. The last 2 seasons he was legit possessed or in the upside down or whatever. So, and we know that he is a phenomenal actor just from season 2 alone. So not every character got a chance to shine this season, but I think the ones that did a really good job, and we got to see a lot of great stuff from it.
Yeah, I guess another good thing I could say about this season is like the monster. Like I thought, like obviously the CG really improved from season 1, because if you look at the Demogorgon from season 1 looks like hot garbage. Demidogs look pretty good, but I thought this meat monster thing was like really cool. It was disgusting, but it was really cool. Like how it is basically like the mind flayers like physical form, just by making people dissolve into like just guts, and then like it was a really cool concept. So I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess
like that too.
I guess we're gonna talk about the thing at the end too, where 11 loses her powers for a little bit.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this was all just because she can't find Hopper. 100%.
You think so?
Yeah. I think they had to like right away into it. They
were
like,
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, because they were like, shit. We had to like find a way to like make sure that 11 can't find him. She used her powers all trying to get that thing out of her leg, which honestly was really gross to watch. Honestly.
Oh yeah, it was horrible to watch.
For me personally, like when it comes to like knives and blood and all that stuff, like I'm fine with it if it's like quick and fast, but like them doing it like slow, I was just like, oh god. Just stop already. But her using all, I guess, the last of her powers in that one moment, but she doesn't have her powers anymore, so I wonder how that's going to develop and how she's going to get them back, I guess, with over time. So maybe there's going to be a huge time jump between this season and the next.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like I think season 4 is probably going to start with her like trying to do her thing where she spies on people. She's probably just gonna keep doing that until she finally like gets it and finds Hopper. Like I think that's how it's gonna kick off for season 4, but I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, like
they
you
could
said,
go in a billion different directions.
Yeah, like you said, it's a pretty convenient thing that she loses her powers, so she can't even look for him, but even if she wanted to. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's why they did it, but I'm fine with it either way. I know that there's probably gonna be one more season after this. But yeah, overall, Stranger Things season 3 is definitely a lot better than the second one. Not to take the second one back in any way. Like season 2 is still like pretty good. It's just that that one episode where it's just the whole sister plot line, which they completely dropped in this season, obviously for good reason, because no one really liked it. Even like rewatching it, I was just like, yeah, this plot line kind of like goes nowhere, and it really doesn't do much for me. Like when I was rewatching season 2, I just skipped that episode because I was like wasted 50 minutes, honestly.
Yeah. Like, and especially now, they're probably not going to do anything with it because they're pretty good with listening to fan feedback, so they probably just drop that storyline.
Yeah, unfortunate.
I feel like it could have been done good if they kept it in Hawkins and she didn't just leave the main story to do it. Because they still have to deal with like her papa, like her dad. I forgot what his actual name is. But I think that would have been cooler if he was the one making this generator down in the mall. They would have more connections with 11 instead of just Russians. But whatever. I guess we're just dealing with Russians now. But I don't know. I felt like there could have been something there, but people don't like it, so they're just doing something else. So yeah.
Oh, okay. There's a couple more points I just brought up.
Yeah. Okay.
The whole Terminator guy.
Oh, the Terminator guy. Yeah. He was just like, again, I would just laugh every time he showed up because he's literally just the Terminator, and it was funny. And I don't know, I felt like he was just kind of just there to be like, the main threat for Hopper and Joyce and stuff. Yeah. Like he didn't really do much. He was just like just scary big guy. But it was satisfying when they killed him. Like that felt good. I'm like,
yeah, that was a pretty good, cool scene. I really, liked what they did with that character, just because it's sort of like a trope, being like, oh, he's just like the Terminator, but at the same time, he's there to like interfere with Hopper and his planning. And then Alexei. I mean, like, I'm not sure if you've like checked Twitter or like Reddit, but like he's like a fan favorite character.
I like Alexei. He was fun. Like as soon as he started walking towards what's his face with like Woody the Woodpecker, I'm like, oh, he's so dead. Yeah. I'm like, no. I actually started to like it. Like I thought he was always pretty likable though. Like he didn't want to go back to the Russians. Like he was just like he was enjoying his time with Hopper and Joyce and stuff. So yeah,
he was just trying to live the American life, and then. Yeah,
they keep killing all the good guys. What the hell? They kill like what's his face, Bob.
Oh, Bob. Oh, yeah. Okay. Joy's going through that whole thing. I was like, damn, I feel so bad.
Yeah, that was really sad. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, but
she's eating her lasagna alone.
She just had like a really hard time getting over that, and obviously she was pushing Hopper away because of it, I think.
Yeah.
So, but at the end, she was just like, maybe I should have just went on a date with him, But. We'll have to wait for next season to see wherever they want to take it. But once again, overall, it's better than season 2. I don't think it's better than season 1. I might have thought that at first, but rewatching all of the seasons again, I think season 3 is still pretty solid, but nothing can beat season 1 just because of how surprising it was.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say the same thing. Like, at the time, I thought season 3 was a little better, and again, I haven't watched season 1 since it came out. Mm-hmm. But I would definitely say probably season 1 is better just because it felt the most pure and like it knew what it wanted to do. Like it was like an 80s like mystery thing with a psychic girl. I don't know. It felt more like it had an identity. And 3 is really good too. And I enjoyed it a lot, but it does have a lot more clearer problems than 1 did. So yeah, I'll probably say it's like 1, 3, then 2. That's probably my order and like their rankings there.
Respectable. But yeah, there's obviously a lot to this season because there's like 8 hours the season clocks in on. So we didn't talk about everything, but I think we got most points out there. So is there anything else you would like to add, good Saw?
No, I think that's it.
All right. So thank you guys for listening to the Travis and Damian Podcast, episode 15. We will see you guys either next week, depending on San Diego Comic-Con news, or the week after, as usual.
See ya.